Because once we are afraid, brothers and sisters, and we fear even that the truth might lead to our death, then nefarious forces will dictate to us humiliating ways to live. If we're not careful to ensure that we die a dignified death, then we'll live an indignant life. Wallahu musta'an. And we seek our help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The final point is Malcolm was, and the reason he's loved especially by the poor and the downtrodden and the oppressed, is because those are his people. He was from amongst the poor and the downtrodden and the oppressed. And as he rose, he never forgot his people. And this is very important for us. We should never forget our people. And our people have grown and expanded. Our people are not just people of African descent. Our people are people of Pakistani descent who are being vilified because of the alleged actions of one. Our people are people of Spanish or native descent in this land, the Latino, Chicano, who's being profiled, who's being scapegoated, who's being presented as the cause of the economic problems in this country. That's not the cause. The poor campesinos whose farms were undermined by NAFTA, no longer competitive, and therefore flooding north, seeking a better life, cutting grass and mopping floors, are not the cause for this economic collapse. They didn't send the jobs overseas, neither did the Muslims. They didn't close down the factories, neither did the Muslims. They didn't build this economic system where fiscal gambling would become the key to massive riches. They didn't orchestrate the bailouts of trillions of taxpayers' dollars. Point the finger at the source of the blame. Don't scapegoat. And we should be toe-to-toe with the Pakistani, toe-to-toe with the Mexican, toe-to-toe with the poor, indigenous, struggling young people, and African-American youth being carted off to prisons. Like some people were carted off to concentration camps. Toe-to-toe. Because those are our people. All of them are our people. The poor kids out in the suburbs, living empty, meaningless lives, drowning in drugs, committing suicides at rates twice the national norm in some instances. Those are our people. Because the call of Islam is a universal call. The call of Islam is a call that respects no socio-economic barriers. The call of Islam is a call of human dignity, of human uplift. And that's why the forces who are working day and night to undermine the dignity of human beings have a problem with Islam. Brothers and sisters, be upright, be dignified, be noble, speak the truth, and be sincere. And believe that you can make a difference. The point we wanted to make, Malcolm came from the poor people. He came from the struggling people. He came from the oppressed people. He came from the people who go to bed at night and don't know if there's going to be any food in the cupboard in the morning. He came from the people who have to walk to school or walk to work. They don't have even a car, and they don't have money to buy a BART ticket or a bus ticket. Those are the people Malcolm came from. But he was elevated to become a figure of international stature. He was elevated to become a figure who, lacking even a high school diploma, could debate with professors at the most prestigious universities in this world. He did not elevate himself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Almighty God, elevated him. And those who are seeking elevation through other than what Malcolm was elevated through, if Malcolm never said La ilaha illallah, if Malcolm never entered into the religion of Islam, we wouldn't be talking about him today. We wouldn't be speaking his name today. We wouldn't even know who Malcolm Little was today. The lesson for us, if we're seeking elevation, brothers and sisters, through anything other than Islam, we'll end up like Malcolm Little would have ended up. As Umar reminded Abu Ubaidah, that we're a people that Allah has elevated with Islam. And if we ever seek elevation through other than Islam, we'll be debased. We'll be debased. So if we want to be elevated in this world, we're not going to be elevated by reckless, irresponsible acts of violence. That's not going to elevate us. We're not going to be elevated by empty rhetoric. Malcolm wasn't an empty rhetorician. His words are repeated, but those words were coupled with action, and the action is what gave power to the words. The action is what made the words moving. We will only be elevated through the sincerity that Malcolm displayed. We will only be elevated through the courage that Malcolm displayed. We will only be elevated to the commitment to family, to community, and to the dignifying of ourselves that Malcolm displayed. And if we can possess those things, brothers and sisters, we'll be elevated. We'll be elevated, and we'll reflect that dignity that Allah Ta'ala reminds us is the right of the believer. وَلِلَّهِ الْعِزَّةِ وَلِرَسُولِهِ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَلَكِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. That the dignity, the honor, the respect is for Allah and His Messenger, and the believers is the hypocrites that realize it not. May Allah Ta'ala bless us with sincerity. May Allah Ta'ala bless us with courage. May Allah Ta'ala bless us to be responsible but serious people. May Allah Ta'ala bless us to be people of action before we're people of words. May Allah Ta'ala lift us. May Allah Ta'ala bless us to be people who as a community can be a light in this world, to show people through the existence of our community, the dignified existence of our community, that something better is possible. That something better is possible. And that something better exists within our individual lives and within the life of our community. But for that to be real, we have to be real. And we have to be serious. And we have to be sincere. May Allah Ta'ala bless us with those characteristics and qualities. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين يا قوم استغفروا الله.